welcome everyone to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I am your hardcore host, and I'm joined by the hardcore crew. First, from the Lance Moss TV, he's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, what's shaking?
Not too much. Just trying to stay warm because it's cold as a summer, my bitch, in the south.
Well, it's cold up here in the north. And then from the Skeleton Realms, he's the Lord Skeleton himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's going on?
I'm trying to do the same thing. It's cold out here. I'm trying to stay warm, but let's hope with the juicy news and rumors we have, that'll keep us warm.
Yeah. And last and certainly not least, she's Miss Zoe. And I know, Zoe, you've been changing your monitor, so I know you're Zoe Nightshade, but you recently changed your name. So how are we doing, Zoe?
I'm doing very well. I'm just trying to stay awake.
Just trying to stay awake. So the three of us are just trying to stay warm, and the other one's trying to stay awake. Oh.
Well, you know the reason she's falling asleep. She watched too much TNA wrestling.
Yep, that's it.
Or WWE stuff.
I watched Nia Jax, and it's about to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to it. Well, Tony Khan confirmed that Andrade El Idolo will be leaving AEW. The Observer is claiming that he will eventually be making his way back to the WWE. Now, I'm not sure if AEW, do they have like a 90-day no-compete clause similar to WWE, Joe? Or can he just bring right back?
No. I don't think they do, because usually they just want to get their people to work. So I don't think they really have that much of an issue. And let's be honest, Andrade the Idiot, it won't be missed. It's not like was such a great talent. You know, the guy was worthless. So let's just say right now, I goodbye, good riddance, and let's hope he never comes back again. Best thing he could do is keep bending over to his wifey, which is Charlotte Reed Flair.
Zoe, now Tony also talked about that he was gone most of the time because he was, out of the country wrestling for other promotions, which he always embraces. But it's like, if you're gonna be gone most of the time, why am I paying you?
Damn, I was hoping you was going to say you got deported.
I think the Joe was hoping.
Yes. See, somebody else who wants that idiot fucking deported.
Joe is a very bad influence on me.
She's finally seen the dark side.
What's that email?
Go ahead. It's zoe@gmail.com.
There we go. Yep. But anyway, as far as Andrade, you know what? I didn't like you in WWE. I don't like you in AEW. See you. Kiss my ass. Goodbye.
Fair enough. And I want to welcome Terry 3G into the room. Lance, final thoughts on Andrade leaving AEW and possibly going to WWE?
The 90-day, I don't think would be in effect anyway, because it's not like he got fired. His contract expired.
All right. I wasn't sure how that works out. That's actually an interesting angle. Joe, WWE, if your contract expires, do they still have that 90-day hangover?
Yes. If it's WWE, yes, it is.
So,
all right.
With Edge, he had his last match on SmackDown, and like a week later, he showed up on at the AEW show.
Well, we're dealing with a different, how can I say, we're dealing with a different crew now. Back then, Vince will tell you, oh, hell no, you are not going to do that. You're going to wait your ass off. But apparently, if it's Triple H, maybe, he probably says, sure, let him go. I think we're seeing a different era where WWE is not so anal because Vince is there. It's not there. So I think they're willing to say, you know what, you want to go. We need new people anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. And also Terry 3G also did say that as far as you know that AEW does not have a no compete clause like WWE's poaching roster. So, so all right, let's move along. This is going to be an interesting topic. There have been rumors going around that Kylie Ray was sexually harassed by Chris Jericho during her time in AEW. Now, Ray has yet to make any public statements towards AEW or Jericho in the past 4 years, which that's when it happened. Kylie Ray left, and when she did leave, it was kind of like up in the middle of nowhere. And she said, well, AE is taking my career to a new height and a new level, and I was time to move on, and I'm thankful for Tony Khan and AEW. So she seemed very grateful. Now, okay, you could say that that's, like she had to write some, NDA clause or whatever for her to get out of there. But this news broke from somebody that, and they quote, was close to Kylie Ray. It wasn't like the Observer or the Insider or any other wrestling news. It was just some schnook on Twitter, and it just spread like wildfire. So, Zoe, I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts on this whole situation?
I mean, I don't understand why she is just now speaking out about it. I mean,
she's not.
I do understand, but I don't understand. And like you said, no, she's not speaking out on it. Her friend is speaking out on it for her. They could have just been like hanging out, having a few drinks, and her say, "Oh yeah, that one time Chris Jericho tried to screw me." You know what I mean? It just, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, there's two stories from what I've been reading on the internet. Okay, the one story is that she went to Chris Jericho's locker room. I guess she thought there was going to be other people there, and it was just him. I guess it was a little bit awkward, and he quote unquote made a move on her. She backed off. He backed off. So it wasn't like And then and then another story saying it happened in a hotel room. So which story is legit? Which story is right? If this story is even right. Joe, over to you.
You know what? Here's the thing. Again, we don't know who exactly said this. So I say it's bullshit until it's actually out and there's a report and there's, an investigation done. And I don't mean a federation investigation. No, I want to see a legitimate, police investigation if this happened. Now, they need to confront Kylie Ray directly, not behind closed doors. Let's put her in the spot. Let's put her in the spot and say, okay, did this really happen? If this did not happen, then it's bullshit. Because let's face it, this kind of scenario, when you're talking about it, I don't see Jericho doing this. It's not like I can't say that he did it or not. But again, why all of a sudden? Why this just happened? To me, it doesn't make any sense. So I say it's bullshit until she is cornered and she spreads it out and says, hey, this is what happened. This is it. They need to follow it up. If I was Chris Jericho, I would fucking call the cops and say, hey, go to her. Let's get her directly in court and let her say it. If she denies it and didn't say it, then obviously it didn't happen. So he's innocent until proven guilty. They need to find the one who started the shit and see what kind of connection is going around and why they said that. So honestly, I think this is just one of those things that it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Put him on the Wilco show.
Terry 3G said, again, getting really sick of these people making sex offense accusations in wrestling. And if it occurred, report it. Don't sit on it. And that's exactly how it should be. Lance, final thoughts.
Well, if I don't know if Jericho did this or not, don't know him personally. I don't know. But, the details just aren't there. The who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. So it's kind of gives me a little bit of a backlash of the night everybody was just up thinking Vince was selling the company to Saudi Arabia, where it was just the story was just constantly changing.
Yeah, and
if it happened, it's horrible.
Yeah. Well, again, and even Terry said again in the chat room, he goes, he made a move on her. He didn't, sexually assault her. Now make a move again. That's very kind of like bland. Make a move would be try to kiss you. And try to kiss, they back off, and then leaves. We're not sure if he tried to grab her by the pussy or any of this other stuff. We don't know what's going on.
Or if she walked into his locker room, she'd like a little peck flex and smile at her.
Yeah.
Or like it's happened in professional wrestling from days gone by, one of the other party walks into the locker room and there's the person stripped naked. Somebody else saw it. Oh, he's sexually assaulting her. She's in the same place. It happened in wrestling multiple times. The thing is, they need to grab this bitch. They need to sit her down in front of a camera and say, did he or did he not do this? And if he did, and I like Jericho. I have nothing against Jericho. He's a great mind. He's a great talent. But stuff like this can destroy a person's career. It's what's called swatting or whatever the term is now, that people set you up and they call 911 or other stupidity. They need to stop doing this shit and properly investigate it before it goes out. If he's accused, first of all, find the person who started this shit, bring them to court, and Jericho to sue the shit out of them and say, this is for trying to defame my character. This is trying to make me look bad. If it didn't happen, then get the stupid bitch, put her in the chair and say, hey, did he not do this in front of everybody? If she says no, then obviously it's somebody else starting shit. This is what destroys not only wrestling, but actors and celebrities and normal people. These false accusations or accusations. Thank you, Terry. He says it's slander. They need to start hitting down on these people and make them, if it happened, forget about AEW's investigation, get a police investigation done, check him out, make sure it happened, go through the due process, and if he's cleared, publicly announce that he's clear, and let's move on. I don't think, especially somebody like Chris Jericho, I don't think he should know better than to get involved in something like this. And let's face it, Kylie Ray is not the best looking woman out there. So if you're going to hit on somebody, go hit on Thunder Rosa, go hit on Sky Blue, go hit on Julie Hart.
Yeah. No, speaking of hitting, since all has been dredged up, all of Jericho's history.
Stop hitting people, Zoe.
Chris Jericho, there's a video of Chris Jericho, I guess when he's still in WWE, he actually punched a woman. Now, keep in mind, what had happened was there was a crowd, and they kept on pushing him and pushing him and pushing him, and he wound up, pushing, so he, got tired, and he smacked her one. Just, he goes, and they're like, oh my God, he hit a girl. But, they were fucking hitting him. What's he supposed to do? Just sit there with a smile and say, no, So, I saw it, and I'm like, good for him. That's what I said in that case.
Well, and here's the thing. When did this happen and what promotion?
Oh, that's when he was in the WWE.
Okay. Well, in the WWE, if the situations happen, from my understanding, and it's been validated by kayfabe commentaries, that whenever somebody nowadays, when a fan tries to attack you, you throw your hands up and move away. We've seen it multiple times where prior to the Wimps taking over, that anybody comes in, they are to just leave the ring and let the cops and security deal with it.
No, this was in a parking lot. This was him trying to get into his car.
Oh, then by all means. But the problem is, if it's not on camera, or if somebody videotaped the part that he's slapping the girl, then obviously it becomes his fault because it's documented.
Yeah.
If,
And the way it was done, but I mean, you could see them all like it was like almost like a crowd, like 2 or 3 people, like push him and push it, and so he just started pushing people back and pushing back, and he just started, and he swung, and I guess you didn't see him actually hit the girl on the camera, but you hear somebody else, oh my God, he just punched a girl, and that's it.
The thing is, though, nowadays fans do not know where the line is.
Yeah.
Okay, take it from me personally. I've been there. I about broke a bitch's nose. You do not run up on a wrestler all hot, heavy, and tough. You don't touch them, number one. To me, in this business, if you touch me and I feel like I'm in danger, I'm going to go after you. Man, woman, whatever. I'm telling you, you touch me, we're going to have problems and it will get violent. Fans are running up on wrestlers at red lights, leaving a show wanting autographs. You got fans running up on wrestlers thinking, oh my God, they're really like this as a heel. Oh my God, this is a poor son of a bitch. I'm going to beat his ass after what he did out there, what he said. It's wrestling. It is scripted. I'm sorry I'm breaking kayfabe. Yes, wrestling is fake. It is a sport. Understand that, number one. Number two, we are all human. Treat us like it.
In
Absolutely.
fact, the best way to say it is we are portraying a character. When
Exactly.
you step outside, that character is gone. Like, people can listen to me who's listened to me on this show and think, oh man, he's a fucking asshole. Then when I get off the thing, yeah, he's a fucking asshole. No.
That's your wife talking, not us.
Yeah, exactly. No, my wife says worse things. Like, are you still here? Hi, honey. It's shit like that. People do not understand, but hell, it has happened to me. It has happened to, obviously, Zoe. It's part of the business, and it's part of being in character in a entertainment business like pro wrestling. So it has happened to the best. So it's, the only thing you could do is, if you're trapped in a situation, you run. You listen to the stories of shoot interviews with Jim Cornette, how people used to attack him literally, and and wrestlers who would get shot like Roddy Piper and others. So there's people who are very special who still take this real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mark K is in the room. Welcome, Mark. And he'd say, I'd like to see Gen Z wrestler get Muffy with Haku. That kid would lose an ear.
Kid would lose an ear? Hell, that kid will lose a leg, an arm. He'll lose probably half his brain.
Let's just say he would take his soul.
Yeah. Haku would beat the living snot out of it and still not break a sweat.
All right. Well, let's move along. So it turns out that Adam Cole was in fact the devil, and the devil's men was the Kingdom and Wardlow. I thought, honestly, guys, I mean, we all called it, but personally, I thought this was a waste of a good storyline. They could have used this character for months until they brought in a new wrestler, and while everybody was thinking, it's this guy, it could have been a brand new wrestler they wanted to bring into the company, and then that would have been a whole different storyline. But unfortunately, they had to make it predictable, Joe.
Oh, predictable? Shit, we've been saying this since it started. I've been saying this for such a long time. This was like the Black Scorpion back in the old WCW days. It's like they did the same thing. Somebody must have came up with this idea from WCW and said, let's start a murder mystery. We've got everything. We got the weapon. We've got the mask. But we forgot to put the killer. So who do we have that could fit this position? This was so blatantly obvious, and then they expect the fans to believe it. You know, you knew it was Adam Cole. So I honestly think it was a wasted effort. But I also, Rick, I gotta say this thing real quick. I think they were menting the role for someone else, or menting the role. They meant the role for someone else, and that person either didn't agree, didn't sign with the company, or just flat turned it down, and they had no alternatives. They had no one else to turn to, and then they said, let's give it to him, and let's do this, and let's do the biggest swerve, because MJF always turns on his friends. Let's do the reverse and see what happens.
Yeah. Zoe, your thoughts?
I mean, I knew it was Adam Cole. Honestly, he was my prime suspect. I wanted this to go on for a little while longer. I wanted to get even more invested into who is it going to be. I know MJF, he's injured. He's possibly looking at shoulder surgery from what I've heard. So that may be why they just went ahead and did it Saturday night. I mean, Adam Cole's injured too, though, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
still injured?
Yeah, he's gonna be.
So I don't understand why make another injured wrestler the devil. That confuses me. The fact that Wardlow's part of it makes sense, though. The fact, they've had beef ever since Wardlow got let go by MJF. Like I said, I wish this could have went on a lot longer so I could get more invested into it, more hyped up with the guessing game. I don't think I would have chose Adam Cole to be the devil, though.
Yeah. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, the only good thing about this is, well, they can keep Adam, at least give Adam Cole some TV time while he's recovering from his broken ankle. Because, yeah, he can do the shit talking, but they can do what WCW did with Hulk Hogan and have the other four guys basically speed bump MJF.
Yeah.
Because in order to get to Adam Cole, he's going to have to go through the other four guys, which they can work that for at least 3-4 months.
Yeah, exactly. And even Terry said, yeah, watching it, it was a weird ending, and it kind of was. And I was watching it with Billy over on his channel, and I saw that Adam Cole. I'm like, why is Adam Cole coming down? I'm like, oh god, they're gonna pitch it right now tonight, because I knew he was gonna lose the title. I knew he was hurt, which is a topic we are gonna be getting to right now. He's got right now an injured shoulder, and he also has a hip. Now, obviously, he was taken off the AEW's website, and now everybody's starting to talk, and they're thinking, that he's going to be leaving AEW, and they already have him pinned on going to WWE. I mean, and that's the thing that kind of just like, I just scratch my head, and I'm like, are you people stupid? Are wrestling fans that, I mean, I don't know. It's just, if you ask me, I know why they're doing this. They're doing this to take him away, so they think that, yep, we beat MJF, we destroyed MJF or whatever, and he's got to come back, 5 or 6 months whenever he's healed properly. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously he probably got really injured, and they just made a call. Let's just make the call. So, and it happens in wrestling. If an individual seriously gets hurt, then yes, then you do, and you take the belt off of him so someone else can have it. And you do it as a thing that it surprised everyone. So, I think he's done a lot. He's actually been active, unlike other champions in the WWE. And he's actually gone out and done other events, like live appearances. He's done different things. So if he's legitimately injured, then obviously he needs this break. He needs to go back, recharge, heal up his body, and then come back stronger. I see Joe as a transitional champion. I don't see him actually holding that belt for long. I'm going to say he's going to hold it for maybe 2 or 3 months and then drop it to someone else. If not, drop it back to MJF. Or maybe they'll do somewhere Adam Cole can say, here, I'm buying the belt, lie down, that's it. And he wins the belt, and MJF gets his revenge on Adam Cole. It's a good call if he's really injured. He can take the time off, take the break, go and come back when he's much more healthier.
Well, that's the thing right now. He is a shoulder injury and a hip injury. The shoulder, I think it's like a torn meniscus, I think. But right now, it's not clear if he's going to get surgery or if he's just going to like take the long road and just wait it, like let it heal by itself. I guess it's or like a physical therapy.
Well, he needs to really take that time to rest. That's the problem with wrestlers today. They go out of their way to rush back in, and then they get further injured, and then they're out longer. So he needs to really think about his health. Wrestling's always going to be there. He could do so many other things like personal appearances. He's already dwelled in acting. He was in that Von Erich movie, The Claw. So honestly, he has a lot of potential to do other stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe, your thoughts?
I mean, wrestling injuries, it's an inevitable thing. Your body is your machine. Your body in wrestling is what's going to pay your bills. So, yeah, he needs to take this time. If he has surgery, do that, recover from it. Hopefully, it's just kind of like physical therapy thing that he can get through and not have to do the surgery. But we all don't know exactly, what's hurt on him and how severe it is. MJF, he is a character. He is one of the best guys on the mic. He's great in the ring. It's like he evolves every match that I see him in. So I can't wait for him to get healed up and come back.
Terry in the chat room said MJF was on Dr. Hightower's YouTube channel getting adjustment a week or so ago, so it's probably helped him to do that last match, and it probably did. Because like I said, Lance, we saw the match, and you could tell he was struggling.
Oh, hell yeah. And now, that was actually the chiropractic video that Terry's talking about was actually about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Everybody freaking the hell out that they pulled him off the roster page. Now, everybody listening closely. They already did that at Double or Nothing.
It just cracks me up. It really does crack me up. Whenever a wrestler is out of wrestling for a little bit of time, they automatically, oh my God, they're going to AEW. No, they're going to WWE. Exactly. I mean, Charlotte's out with the injury right now, and people were even going on saying, oh, Charlotte's going to go over to AEW. Like, chill the fuck out until you actually see it happen.
Yeah.
Plus, they already have enough male wrestlers in AEW. They don't need Charlotte.
And it ain't like MJF hadn't worked social media before. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move along. Triple H announced that a former champion will be returning to the WWE. While we all know that Andrade will obviously be making his way back to the WWE, we're wondering, could he be referring to another champion? Former Divas champion AJ Lee posted that she was doing some ring work with her husband CM Punk on her TikTok account. And again, a little on this little video, you couldn't really see it. You heard music, but it just said anything can happen. So, Lance, I know you're a huge AJ Lee fan. Is this, could she be coming back? Is this what we're talking about? What Triple H has been talking about?
This is not, but I do see AJ coming to back at the Rumble. And they kind of did the equivalent of giving a kid the same damn toy 3 or 4 years in a row at Christmas time because the damn champion was Dwayne.
That's true, and we will be talking about that shortly. Okay, Zoe, your thoughts about AJ Lee?
Oh my God, dude. Like, I quit watching WWE, but if AJ Lee comes back, I will start watching WWE more often. I love her. One of the greatest female wrestlers. She's a little badass. She's short like me. She's psycho like me. I love this girl. She could put on a hell of a show, and honestly, she's got that side to her where she can basically mind fuck you. It's so amazing. I hope she does come back.
She can mind fuck me, or any other word that comes with the word fuck when it comes
Well,
to
you know what I mean. She can miss the
Hell to the yeah.
Joe, final thoughts.
I don't want to see that bitch back.
Wow.
Damn.
Fuck that bitch. I don't want to see that face. I don't want to see her. I honestly, she was lack of talent. The only reason she was there is because of CM Punk. And if she goes back, it's because of CM Punk. That's all there is. I never got it. She's not like she's unattractive. She's got a decent body. But her wrestling was blah. She was a Mickie James ripoff. The whole gimmick, the psycho characters, like Mickie James when she first came to WWE and she was stalking Trish Stratus. So do I want to see her back? No. Did I want to see CM Punk back? No. Wrestling is hitting the down low. And just because WWE's starving for ratings doesn't mean they need to bring this bitch back. Find some better talent out there if you want to do that. You want a real shot? Go bring Sunny. I think they can parole her after a few years. Scare the shit out of everybody at ringside.
Ain't nobody want to see that.
Exactly. Yep. The audience were willing to pay to get Sunny off the air. That's what WWE needs. Can you imagine the dolls too? Here's your new Sunny dolls, and they're like all fat and out of shape, and they're like, she's in her pinstripes or orange jumpsuit.
No, the orange. The orange is new black.
No,
Yeah.
get her nails his old jumpsuit. Get her nails his old jumpsuit.
With Martha Stewart in her jumpsuit. Come on now.
All right. Moving on. The Rock did make an appearance this past Monday on day one. Where he interrupted Jinder Mahal and made several jokes about him. He even called Mahal the day one douchebag. After Jinder was done, The Rock teased a match between Roman Reigns. So he kind of said, do I want, I'm hungry. Do I want to sit in a booth? Do I want to sit at a bar? Or do I want to sit at the head of the table? So, and he also posted an Instagram on his channel where he said, we're just getting started. And guys, like I said, for years we've been hearing the rumors about Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and I said not gonna happen. For the most part, I've been right. But this year, Zoe, could I be right?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, yes. So, okay, let's say we see The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Do we want it? What do you expect for that type of a match?
I mean, it'll be a good match because, hell, it's The Rock. But I don't see The Rock taking the title. I feel like it would result in a disqualification or, the rest back his turn and Sikoa might jump in there and beat the hell out. Who knows?
All right. Joe, your thoughts?
I think The Rock's in tremendous shape. If you're going, and again, I'm thinking out of the character here. I'm not thinking wrestling wise. I'm thinking buy rates. I'm thinking of ratings. I'm thinking other stuff. I am looking at ratings here in business. The Rock coming back, stepping in the ring, that's going to sell tickets. They could sell out a WrestleMania. They could sell out a Royal Rumble, something they haven't done with the current roster combined. The Rock alone. Can you imagine The Rock coming down the ringside, doing his skits on Roman with his mouth hanging open, acknowledge me, and The Rock hitting this long monologue like he does. Honestly, just The Rock there in the same ring with Roman, it's going to make Roman look like what he is. It's a chump. He's a guy that, well, let's give the belt to him. We don't have nobody else. Give it to him. Obviously, let's give The Rock at least his WrestleMania moment. Let's give him a championship win. Let's push Roman off a cliff and hopefully let him learn how to fucking cut a promo and how to fucking wrestle and go in there. And he can he can hold the belt till SummerSlam, drop it back to Roman if you have to, and then pass the torch. That's one thing Roman needs. He needs The Rock to pass the torch for people to finally accept him. Rock needs to slap the shit out of Roman, tell him, get out of your Shield gear. You're stupid looking. Look at him. He's the Brahma Bull. Get in there and dress like a fucking wrestler and fucking take off. That's what he needs. He needs that Rock to push him. He needs to be the Rocky Maivia to start developing the character to become The Rock. That's what Roman needs. Roman needs to really cement himself to start moving forward.
Well, I think he has moved forward, obviously. I mean, come on, let's Look,
the only reason he's WWE champion is because there's nobody else. And it's family politics in there. You've got the entire Anoy family. And I have nothing against the Anoy family. They're awesome people. But Roman is really the worst world champion they've ever had. And you got Pedro Morales. You had some real doozies of bad champions. Roman fits in there because he can't cut a promo. He's a few trick ponies. He really can't do shit in that ring. He needs The Rock to really cement himself to move forward. Cena can't do it. Rollins, definitely the fucking Jesus Christ of fucking professional wrestling. Mr. Becky Lynch. So obviously Roman needs this to get that push. And WWE needs the ratings. They're dying of ratings. They're literally below level now. Yeah, Mark Kay says the same. Undertaker couldn't do it because, let's face it, Undertaker can't get off the toilet if he's sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, but even years ago, when he was still active, Roman Reigns beat him, and he quote-unquote retired, which he didn't officially retire until...
because Undertaker couldn't get up. He's not the Undertaker of the 90s. The Rock is in tremendous shape. He's a guy that can freaking do the job in there and actually take care of this. Can you imagine a WrestleMania with The Rock finally, and you hear, if you smell, and you hear his music play and he comes down? That's all eyes are going to be on that match. And if they're smart, which I doubt WWE is smart, but if they were smart, they'll do the smart thing and put the world title at the end of the card and use that as the all of you better stay here and watch this lousy show because you're going to see a great main event. That's what they need to do.
I think they
would. The only one that can do it.
I mean, we have seen world title matches, at the beginning of a show, but I think something like this has been building up for years. They're going to have that at the main event. No questions asked about that. Lance, final thoughts.
I honestly don't think it's going to be at Mania because Mania this year is in Philly. Do y'all not remember what the flying fuck happened the last time Roman and The Rock were in the ring in Philadelphia? They both had I'm going to get stabbed heat at the Rumble.
Yep.
So I honestly think they're going to do this in Perth, Australia at Chamber.
All right. The Chamber. Interesting. Terry 3G said, it's like when WCW tried to make themselves big by pushing all the Flair family members into the business. And that was kind of a weird time having all the Flairs. You know, the funny thing, the only so far aside from Rick himself, the only other Flair member that's been successful has been Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move along. Now,
Yeah.
according to Fightful Select, Mercedes Moné could very well be signing with AEW.
Oh shit! The show just went down the fucking tubes.
Oh, gee, thanks, Joe.
Here we go. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Nobody cares for this skanky looking little slut.
Yep.
Anybody who's fucking thinks that she's a great worker has been in the same room with Snoop Dogg after he's smoking a bunch of blunts. You know, first of all, she's no longer valid. Fuck, if you want to see a multi-haired character like hers and somebody with better talent or better looking, look at Jade Cargill.
I don't know. I mean, now you can hate her work, ring work, or whatever, even her personality, all you want. But I mean, she's not too bad looking, if you ask me.
If you take off all that makeup, no, you want to put her in the middle of the highway with a sign that says "Please hit her." In fact, you still want to put her in the fucking highway and have on a Wednesday when semi are traveling back and forth. This bitch does not.
Hang the hell on, damn it. That's Joe at ScholesandStrom.com.
Thank you, Lance. I was waiting for you to do that. I was hoping you would have done it with the last time, but okay. But here it is. We don't need to see her in wrestling. They don't need her in AEW. We don't need her in, let me say, put her on WWE, don't make it less than the people want to watch. Then you really want to drive the ratings down. This bitch will probably want in her contract, I want to come back and I want to win a title. Give me a reign, just like Charlotte did when she came back. I want a reign, and if she does sign with WWE, which is the most likeliest thing, because she could use AEW as pretty much as a bidding point and say, yeah, if you don't want me, I'll go over here. So I'm sure she's going to go to the WWE, and they're going to try everything to try to build up their roster again. Notice, folks, when their current talent can't perform and get your attention, they resort to bringing some of these people back. And will it be The Rock? Will it be Austin? Will it be Cena? They know their current talent can't fucking do shit, so they have to go back to this. But when it comes to Monet or Sasha Banks or whatever the fucking bitch wants to call herself, no, we don't need you. Get out of the business. Why don't you try rapping with your uncle and better yet, you go into rap. That way, every Christmas she'll get a bonus for all the boxes she raps.
All right. Well, Monet was talking with WWE for a couple of weeks, but things fell apart due to money issues. Zoe, your thoughts on Mercedes Moné possibly going to AEW?
Okay, first I want to say thank you, Terry 3Gs. He said that I'm a lot prettier than Sasha Banks.
Oh, absolutely.
Damn right. You got the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. Fuck Monet. Let's vote Zoe.
I mean, her look just says, hey, I just smoked crack.
Thank you.
Everybody crazy over this. But I ain't even going to call her woman. This thing. What's the deal with her? I mean, I've never really liked her wrestling style. I didn't like her gimmick. She's too big for her own ego, I guess you would say. Send her to TNA with Naomi.
Actually, speaking of Naomi, there's rumors that she could possibly be coming back to WWE.
Of course, somebody's got to make sure her husband doesn't get any more DUIs by himself.
Oh, come on. That's going to happen regardless. So, Lance, over to you.
Well, her husband does need a designated driver.
I was talking about Mercedes Moné possibly signing with AEW.
Okay, with the Sasha Mercedes thing, I still think we're going to have she's going to be a surprise entrance at the Rumble, and people are going to say, but the contract negotiation broke down. Didn't they say the same fucking thing right before Phil showed back up?
Yeah. Pretty much. So, I mean, even I didn't think that Phil was coming back, but lo and behold, he did. So WWE got me on that one. So, WWE's Kevin Dunn is leaving the WWE after being executive producer and chief, a global television distributor of the company.
He's eating his chips someplace else. I'm eating my chips someplace else.
So, he was with the company for, I guess he was with the company for like over 40 years, but he was like a producer and discovery and whatever, I'm not going to say, for over 3 decades. Aside from Vince McMahon himself, Dunn was the top guy in the company. In the past, Dunn made it clear that he would never work for anyone or anyone else in the WWE but Vince McMahon himself. Joe, since you decided to start making chomping your bits, have at it.
Yeah, he's probably working for freaking Frito-Lay's. We don't know. He's their personal tester. Regardless of the damn Beaver jokes, he has done a lot of good as a producer backstage in the WWE, the WWF. He's a talent. I know everybody makes fun of that dude. My God, Rick, look at that picture. Fuck, I got some trees he can chop down for me with that.
Yeah, he's got a bit of an overbite. I just
can't wait for Jim Cornette to come out with the Jim Cornette experience and really jump on this dude.
I'm so looking forward to that.
So, honestly, though, take away from the stupidity of him, and there's all that. The guy's a multi-millionaire. He's made enough money in WWEF, and honestly, you know what? He probably knows too. The time has come. He's probably not going to get away with a lot of shit that he's probably used to do in WWEF. And with Vince not there to coddle him and hold him, he's probably has to go someplace else. So the best thing AEW could do, you'll forget about recruiting talent. Here's a guy that could be your producer who can fix your television. If that's a person that you want to bring in just to build up your roster in the back. I'm not talking about workers. I'm talking about your production.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think he would even consider going to AEW?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
he's unless Tony Khan's that much of a mark and throws him a figure that he could and an easy schedule. That's one of the things you got to look at with these veterans, especially. And he's a veteran producer, and they just let go one of their main producers, Kevin Sullivan, not the Taskmaster, but the other Kevin Sullivan, who was their AEW's producer and who was Impact and TNA's producer. So why not? There's a main spot open. Why not try to offer the guy a lot of money if he can prove himself? Absolutely. But you know what? If that doesn't work, he can be a lumberjack. They can use his teeth to chop down some rainforest.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Zoe, over to you.
He kind of looks like the rat off of that Disney movie, that Ratatouille or something. Kind of looks like that for me. Anyway, I think that he's just, honestly, done. I mean, he's been at WWE, like you said, how long? 40 years? Maybe he's just done. He wants to enjoy a little bit of retirement, be with his family. There's nothing saying that he's going to go work for somebody else. Maybe he is just flat out done.
And that's a very fair point, too. Terry3G said he would ruin AEW if you ask me. Just look at WWE's over the last 2 decades on TV. Well, it's not entirely done over the past 2 years. It's, that's Vince. Because Vince, I think before he stepped down, he really just started to lose his way. And, I think he lost the plot of the business. But that's just my opinion. Lance, over to you.
This Bucky Beaver looking motherfucker is one of the scourges of professional wrestling. He thinks that WWE is not wrestling, even though they have wrestlers in a wrestling ring in wrestling tights and wrestling boots. Yeah, that's not wrestling. Fuck you, Kevin Dunn.
Short but sweet. All right. Well, we know that TNA always has problems with viewers. Right now they're on the Access TV, so for some people that was working out great. But apparently, PNW Insider is reporting that Access TV, home of TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling, has been officially yanked from Verizon Fios. That means that, even, as I said, less time for TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling. More importantly, for in the for TNA. Zoe, your thoughts?
I mean, I don't watch TNA, so it really doesn't matter to me.
All right, Joe, over to you.
Yeah, what, they took away the last 5 viewers to their channel? Fuck. Yeah, let's all cry for that. It's not like TNA. Well, first of all, it was Impact, and they did fucking hell of a ratings. So let's go back to TNA where we still can do fucking no ratings. Have you seen their roster? They're the most horrible. It's the most horrible roster I've ever seen. Their ideas are lousy. They're in the same league as NWA Power, which is in the toilet. So them losing this, I think they honestly, what they should do with this company, like NWA Power, is shut it down. Shut it down, or find a place, maybe the farmer's market would host them every so often, because their product fucking sucks. They need to really switch it up. They're not going to get on a major network. They have no buying power. They have no ratings power. They have no one in their company that screams, let me watch your channel. So, hell, my virtual wrestling, WWO Live, hashtag WWO Live, probably pulls more audience than they do. So, they need to figure out they can't figure out. They have no one of intelligence in that company. They need to just stick to, go back to when they first started, sell their episodes on pay-per-view for $3 or $4 and hope somebody buys it. Mom, Dad, I'm wrestling tonight. Please buy the show. Please, we need the money. Now the wrestlers used to get fucking food stamps. Now they're not even eligible for that. So they'll be freaking sitting in being homeless in California now.
We'll wrestle for food.
For food? They'll wrestle for food, for a home, for fucking a change of clothes. Fucking the women in TNA probably need fucking tampons. You never know.
Oh, Terry 3G in the chat room said that Access TV is still on a Canadian cable, so not dead yet. So I guess it's going to be more of a Canadian wrestling show than a. But even still, yeah, I watched some of the stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, what is this shit? It's really not that great. And NWA Power, as you pointed out, Joe, again, yeah, it's even worse. So, Lance, over to you.
Well, New Japan's going to be okay because they have their own New Japan Network type deal going. But Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it, by the end of the year, they might be back on doing live shows on Twitch.
Yeah, well, unless if they get some, TV network god that, like sprinkle a miracle, no, not gonna happen, And I honestly, unless whoever, I don't even know who's running it. I know that, they bought out.
Might be back running it.
Say again?
Is it Anthem still own it?
Yeah.
So right now, a company owns it rather than one person, which is a mistake because, and that's the issue. I think if they had one person like a Tony Khan, which people has all his own faults, but he would be pushing harder and harder to get that company, off the ground and on major TV network. And I think that's really one of the major faults. So
here's something funny too, Rick. Anthem is a Canadian company, and they own TNA, and they're not, and they lost airtime in America, and they maybe sprinkled a little bit on Canadian TV. God, like this company, and they went back to TNA hoping that maybe the nostalgia would bring it back. Nostalgia, this company, the only way this company will be saved if they actually got AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and every other former TNA person that's bigger now than before to come back and help be stars in the company, which will never happen.
And even it did. I don't think that would help, because if you can't watch the show live, what's the fucking point? So, I don't care if they put, CM Punk went over there, The Rock, whoever, name the biggest name wrestlers are over that went over there. Excuse me. They're not. TNA is not going to, get any bigger ratings unless it was on a major network. We've said this time and time again. And Terry3G said they have a deal fight on a network on Canada, up here in Canada. Yeah, Fight, which is like a monthly payment. I'm not going to pay a month for a show, for TNA. It was like a $10.
And let's face it, Rick, Fight Network is where other indie companies sometimes post their shows. And if you've ever seen some of their shows, it's not great. That's why WWE, AEW, any reputable company would stay away from that. Honestly, TNA is on its last leg. They went from Impact to TNA to try to revive it. And folks, it's not going to get revived. Let's face it, their talent just sucks. They need to break out and get a whole new roster if they can sucker somebody into it.
Yeah, well, again, I don't think that's going to happen. So, you know what? We're going to wrap up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I'd like to thank Terry3G, who was in the chat room. I also like to thank Mark K, who was in the chat room. For those of you listening, please take your time, hit the like button, and if you want more of our Wrestling Rants, we have a chat room where we talk about the daily news and rumors. We have the babe of the day, who Terry3G has so graciously been taking care of lately, and much, much more. Joe, you're over at Skull and Realms. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, I do games from yesterday to today, PC to console. I actually started going back, and I'm back to doing streams. I'm going to be starting this weekend again, but I also do my WWO Live, which is a virtual wrestling company. Forget about eFeds. We are a virtual wrestling company. We have people, dedicated men and women who go and shoot a promo. They do skits, they do stuff, and we put it all together with WWE 2K23 action. And it's really starting to pick up. A lot of people starting to notice. So definitely check us out. Also, next month, I am actually going to get a virtual printer to start making my own wrestling dolls. So who knows? You might see HWR dolls.
Ew, I want to order one.
Zoe's will be a dual package. It'll come with a John Moxley doll tied to a chair.
I love it. Lance, you're over at Lance Moss TV. I know you're kind of taking a break from other things. So what do you got doing? What else?
Well, right now it's because last night was actually our first show back of the year. It's Lance Moss TV and Friends Coffee Time, where we shoot the shit for about an hour and a half. And well, it's at 7:05 Central, 8:05 Eastern on Tuesday nights, and well, anywhere else, you do the math.
All right. And Zoe, we know you're doing a lot of things. What do you got going on today?
Right now, KBW is still, we're working on the building. We're hoping to get started very, very soon to start having shows. In the meantime, we do have a show with TSW coming up in February up in Shopville. I will get more details to that and pass it along. Just make sure that you guys come out and support us if you're in Kentucky, um, up in Manchester, up in Shopville, just where we're at. Um, get out and support your indie wrestling. Honestly, I don't care where you are. Go watch an indie show this weekend.
And there you have it. So, for the Hardcore crew, I am your hardcore host, Rickhead, saying, we'll see you when we see you.
Buy this shirt!